Fires toward the end zone. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown. Parker Washington caught it in the left corner of the end zone. And Jacksonville strikes first. Fires left side. Wants Brenton Strange in the left side of the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown to Brenton Strange. A 3-yard touchdown pass. And Jacksonville has retaken the lead. Trevor takes it. Runs to the right. Runs it into the end zone. Touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run by Trevor Lawrence. Goes another back for SETN. Tries to make him miss. Down to the 5. Down put it all on. Touchdown. 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 A 10-yard touchdown pass to Travis Etienne. The Jags have extended the lead. How good is that? Fires downfield, and that ball's going to be picked off. The Jags intercepted. Dorian Jones went up and got it near the 30-yard line of the Jaguars. The defense takes it away in a huge moment.
Team effort. Just thankful that a small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done.
They just go hop on the bandwagon right now. Everybody in this locker room on the Jaguars team, even upstairs, we know everybody probably gonna try to hop on this bandwagon now, but we don't want anybody. They can stay where they at. It's us. It's all about the Jags. Everybody but us. Excuse my language, mama and dad, grandmama, but everybody but us.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome in. Jaguars Today off and rolling on this Check the Tape Tuesday, and congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars for securing their playoff spot for the first time since 2022 last night with the loss by the Indianapolis Colts. Although, Tony, I will say this. I hope the Jags watch that game. The Colts looked a lot more competitive. Their defense did not slow down, never mind stop San Francisco, but their offense played light years better than they did the week before. And really, that turnover on the kickoff early in the first half kind of threw things off balance. They were matching the 49ers touchdown for touchdown. In fact, they came out with the ball first, went right down the field, got the TD. Phillip Rivers threw for over 270 last night, a big improvement from last week. So they're not going to lay down, I wouldn't imagine, when the Jags come calling this week.
No, look, there's the potential for that to be the kind of last gasp, right, for the Colts, but they're not technically dead in the playoff picture going into this weekend's game against the Jags, so I would expect the effort that you saw last night that you'll see a very similar effort this week against the Jaguars. Now, yeah, that was a team that couldn't do anything defensively to even slow down the 49ers at any point in that game last night, but look, they're not done, right? They look done, but they're not technically done. I think it was 4 teams, including the one they were playing, the 49ers, clinch the playoff berth with the result with the Colts losing. I think it was 4 teams in the league.
I know Buffalo locked up theirs. Probably the Chargers, I'm guessing, as well.
The Jaguars and
Houston.
And the 49ers.
Houston didn't.
No, they didn't lock yet. No. But the 49ers locked a playoff spot by beating them. And I think you're right. It was the Chargers and the Bills and the Jaguars locked a playoff spot.
All right, well, let's say good morning to Jeff Lageman coming to us from an undisclosed location. Logs, good morning on this Check the Tape Tuesday. How are you?
Fantastic. Good morning, boys.
Well, Jags make the postseason. How far ahead of schedule does this team feel to you from what your expectations were?
Oh, yeah, I think dramatically. I mean, I felt like that they had the right leadership in place, and you were hoping that this year you would kind of find a way to get just a little bit above 500, just to establish that winning culture. And yeah, I definitely have exceeded my expectations, and give a lot of credit to the leadership, but also give a lot of credit to the players themselves. I mean, those are the guys that got to execute it. And Trevor has been just absolutely lights out. I mean, there's 2 people that I give the most credit to. One is Trevor. Number 2 is the head coach, just for really developing him in this offense and entrusting him to the point where he goes into a hostile environment like Denver and just absolutely is dealing as a quarterback. And it was fun to watch, really fun to watch.
And a football team, Jeff, that when you look at the schedule, right? An NFL schedule is always kind of a weird thing, right? You paint a picture in your mind of what it's going to be, who a team is as you're getting ready to play them, and they change over the course of the season. I'm not saying that the Kansas City win didn't feel any more impactful when it happened or should feel less impactful now given where the Chiefs have wound up in the season. Well, the Jaguars helped them wind up where they wound up, but you go back and look at the schedule the Jags have played, including this week in Denver, they're beating playoff teams. Right? Like, it's not like they're just eking by teams and the schedule's kind of weak and all the, like, I think people who bring that kind of thing up, I don't think they've even looked at what the Jaguars have actually played to this point this year and how they've gotten to this point.
No, yeah, no, I think you're right. And, that game in Denver basically gave you a 6-3 record versus teams that are 500 or better. So I think a lot of times people say, well, they're playing a weak schedule. Well, they're not. I mean, they're beating teams that a lot of people didn't expect them to beat, and they're beating teams that people expected them to beat. So that, I think they're doing a great job, obviously, and it's awesome that last night the Colts lost and the Jaguars have a playoff berth. But I get the feeling that that's not where this team is going to rest. This team, I think, has a commitment to be more than just a team that goes to the playoffs. Every year when you set your goals, one of the things that's right at the top, and I think Sean Payton talked about this last week with his media group and also talked about it with his team, is that, look, when we set our goals every year, the first one at the top is win the division, and they hadn't done that yet. And the Jaguars, I think if you were to ask all the players, winning the division is a big deal. Getting a playoff berth, great, but let's win the division, because then it gives us the best chance or the best possibility at getting to the big dance, which is the Super Bowl, because you're going to have a home playoff game to at least start the playoff part about your schedule out with, so I mean, so that's, I think, exciting. And, I think this football team is very hungry, and I'm excited to see how they play this week against the Colts team with, division title basically kind of on the line.
Yeah, for them, it really is, right? I mean, you win that game, and I guess the Colts are still alive in the playoff race, right? Just because they lost and that allowed the Jags in doesn't mean the Colts are done. So, ironically, if the Jags beat the Colts this week, the Jags will clinch the playoff spot for the Houston Texans, right? Because the Texans could lose this week. The Colts need the Texans to lose, and then the Colts win out because they play Houston in week 18. Mm-hmm. So that's their path to actually getting in as a 7 seed. So ironically, if the Texans do lose, if the Jags win, we lock up a playoff spot for Houston by doing so, which is, look, I'll take the win. I want the division title, Jeff. And beyond that, a top 2 seed is not out of reach by any stretch, particularly because, Denver's got the Chargers in week 18. The question is, if you got a team like the Chargers, if they can't win the division by that point, and we'll see, because they might be able to. Only a game separates them. The Chargers could actually knock the Broncos down to a wild card, potentially. If both teams win this week and the Chargers beat them in week 18, they'll have a head-to-head sweep, and they'll match them in the record, and the Chargers would be the AFC West champs, and then Denver would have to come on the road and possibly even here to Jacksonville at some point. So it's just wonderful that we got this kind of stuff to talk about, Logs. Trevor Lawrence now by the betting odds, a top 4 MVP candidate. None of us expect him to win it, but it's just nice that his recent play has put him in that conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And it's crazy, you go back and that Houston game that he had at Houston, and where the Jaguars had the second half collapse, that was the 5th game that he had this season where he was below a 75 quarterback rating, and we were all kind of going, hey, is the quarterback going to be better? And now, since then, he's been simply fantastic. I mean, the last 4 games, obviously, 12 touchdown passes and no interceptions and over 1,000 yards passing, and his rating the last 4 games have been over 100. I mean, he's, this past game, though, to me was the most impressive one. And I said that in our broadcast on Sunday. And the reason why is that, look, you're playing a really good defense. I mean, a really good defense that's got the crowd kind of on their back, to help them out. And you started the game out and things didn't look great. And you were kind of having a hard time getting the ball snapped before the play clock. And Then all of a sudden you just calmed everything down, and you didn't have a running game. So you had the crowd noise, you had a great pass rush, a great defense, and no running game. And Trevor was just making plays, whether it was with his legs or with his arms, and it was just tremendous to watch. And that's what you call putting the team on your back and carrying them.
All right, well, we've got Jeff here for the next 2 hours, and we will check the tape through the eyes of Jeff Lageman as the Jaguars improve to 11-4, and thanks to the loss by the Colts last night, officially lock up a spot in the NFL postseason with, as Jeff laid out, bigger fish to fry. On a 6-game winning streak, 7 of their last 8 have gone in the victory column, and you've got the Indianapolis Colts awaiting your Jaguars this week. All right, so we'll get into it today with Jeff. If you want to get in, you can at 641-1010 on the phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can stream us on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Coach Denmark, how was your evening last night? Any fantasy championships on the line upcoming?
No.
I'm sorry.
That sucked.
The
only good thing that happened yesterday was I went to Redneckville yesterday at my sister's house, and my sister, my brother-in-law has got a 22 rifle, a CZ453, and he set up a soda can 98 yards away. Got on my first try.
First shot. 98 yards.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive right there.
It was pretty lucky.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that is that's very good. I don't know if you'll need that skill at any point. You don't strike me as much of a hunter, but
No,
maybe you and Logs can get together at some point and
That's why I
rectify
brought it up.
that.
I was like, Logs probably knows something about
Logs
this.
probably knows a patch of woods that has your name on it right there. All right. So we got them already stacking up on the phone lines. You can submit your questions and on the text line, on social media, however you want. And let's talk about the current state of affairs with your Jacksonville Jaguars. You're listening to Jaguars Today on a Check the Tape Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Offense, defense, special teams.
Offense, defense, and special teams all contribute.
We got ourselves a roster.
After the game, pump up the Superior Plumbing Special Teams Player of the Game.
They got to match eyes.
On 1010XL.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.
Jaguars Today Tuesday, kept pest-free by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Buick GMC wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And for the holidays, Nimnik Buick GMC has prices that are better than ever. You're looking for a dealership that actually makes car buying easy? Well, at Nimnik, you'll find unbeatable holiday savings, huge selection of Buicks and GMCs, plus flexible financing that fits your budget. Whether you're looking for a new SUV, work-ready truck, or certified pre-owned, they've got you covered. So don't wait. Start shopping at NimnikBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway today. GMC, we are professional grade.
Wrap up your holiday list with a little help from 1010XL's Holiday Gift Guide. Find unique gift items from Jacksonville Flower Market, Hello Smooth Med Spa, and Green Acres Sporting Goods. Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Frank Frangie for Lee & Kate's Glass, still family-owned and in business for 100 years. When they say you're going to see a big difference, that's for everything. Custom showers and spas, tabletops, mirrors, even replacing foggy windows, all at a more affordable price. And with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed, Lee & Kate's Glass is your best choice. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
The best wings in town are coming to River City Marketplace. Leon Cersei here. Wingstop is opening another North Jacksonville location soon at the end of December. You always get fresh, made-to-order wings in 11 flavors, including original, hot, garlic parm, and of course, lemon pepper. Wingstop now has 18 locations in Jacksonville, always open until 1 a.m. So skip the wait and order your wings online at wingstop.com and swing by to pick up at the brand new Wingstop location in River City Marketplace.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
There's lots of reasons to use Cume flowers when you need to send floral arrangements. This is JJ with 1010XL. No matter what the reason or the occasion, Cume Flowers delivers with only the best. Log on to cumeflowers.com and make someone's day.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, let's take care of a little business here. The Jacksonville Jaguars would like you to know that long snapper Ross Matisic has been named to the 2026 Pro Bowl. It's his third consecutive selection, voted the last couple of years, and has been an All-Pro. First team in 2023, second team last year. So Matisic is a Pro Bowler. He is the only starter for the Jaguars. The alternates are, and I don't know, Tony, if these are listed by like how many votes they got by their position or whatever, but it's interesting because they're not alphabetical.
Yeah, don't know.
Devin Lloyd listed as an outside linebacker. Travis Etienne, obviously, at running back. Parker Washington as a kick return specialist. And your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, are among the alternates. I don't know, when is the Pro Bowl this year? Is it the week before?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl?
It's the Pro Bowl games, yeah. It'll be out in San Francisco.
Sorry, Ross. Yeah. We'll be busy.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to be busy that week leading up to the Super Bowl. We hope. Let's send those good vibes out there. Lugs, what do you make about the well, Matisic, we know, is great at his job. But what do you make about the four guys, Lloyd, Etienne, Parker, Washington, Trevor Lawrence? Your thoughts on them playing at a Pro Bowl alternate level at the very least this year?
Yeah, I think all of those guys are playing really well, and I would even probably put for me, Parker Washington's the best punt returner in the National Football League. But there's other guys that are pretty good too. But he's just been so good. If he had that other one that was called back because of penalty with the Rams game in London, then maybe he ends up being the first guy. But the other thing too, I think that this serves as motivation once again, kind of that disrespect card that this Jaguars have been using as fuel and motivation. That not having a guy kind of on the front line of the Pro Bowl, I think will motivate this football team even further. And that's good, man. Give them all the juice that they can possibly have, for motivation.
Logs, I can remember early in the season when there was something going on with some of the snaps from Matisic. And I had this thought in my head. I was like, he's been the All-Pro the last couple of years. I wonder if that's at risk, right, for Matisic this year with the way that it started. But it does sound like here the last month and a half or so that all of that kind of thing has been cleaned up in that process, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely better. And, I think if Ross would probably be the first one to tell you that a lot of his awards are due and should go a lot of credit towards Logan Cook, because Logan Cook's just such a good holder. and Logan's been able to handle any kind of issue that's happened this year. But there's no debating Ross in coverage. I mean, last week was a perfect example. I mean, him making a big play in coverage. And that's really what has made him be or considered to be one of the best long snappers, is because his athleticism in coverage. And a couple years ago, he was the highest rated player according to PFF on all special teams, and that's anybody. Even like compared to like a Rayon Lane guy. And I would also argue that Rayon Lane should have been considered as a special teamer. He's one of the best in the National Football League. And I think if you were to poll just the special teams coaches, that they would probably have Rayon Lane in their top five. But the reality is that, and the truth is that we are a smaller market, and there's guys that are not going to get the recognition because it's a Jacksonville market. If it's a New York market, it's completely different when it comes to Pro Bowl and recognition.
All right, well, congrats to Matisic regardless. And, barring the Jags making the Super Bowl, we'll probably see some of these alternates get an opportunity to take part in whatever the Pro Bowl is nowadays. I don't even know what it is. The ceremonial being named a Pro Bowler, right? The games, the
dodgeball,
the competition.
Dodgeball.
Yes.
Well, and it means money
football,
too. I mean,
yeah.
some of these guys got incentives, and making the Pro Bowl's a big deal. Contractually, it pays dividends as well.
Now, good for them. I'm not going to worry about their extra 50 grand or 100 grand in their pocket. They've got plenty, all of them, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's go to the lines for the first time this morning on a Check the Tape Tuesday. If you have specific questions about the Jaguars' performance against the Denver Broncos this week or anything that went down, now's the appropriate forum to exercise those questions, including Mac in Delaware to lead things off this morning on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Mac.
Hey, good morning, guys. First of all, I want to wish you, Tony, Jeff, and Dylan, and everyone that works on the station a happy Merry Christmas and everything, New Year and everything.
Yeah, same to you, man.
I got you, man. Thank you.
Jeff, I wanted to tell you that I was the one that made the cheeseburger comment because I heard you on the broadcast talk about it, and it made me laugh, so I wanted to, let you know. Also, I'm not really a hunter or fisher, but I like your program on Saturdays. I listen to it all the time, so I might have to learn a little bit more about hunting and fishing. My specific
Thank you, Mac.
is when the game first started, it seems as though that the Jags were a little bit out of sorts, and it was just that I was hollering at the TV saying, "Hey, get the play in, snap the ball." I mean, I understand it was loud out there, but it seems as though that these guys settled down and went to work and did what they had to do. Also, I just want to say that hey, I'm a native Baltimorean, but I'm really happy for all the people down in Jacksonville. I feel like, hey, I'm a little bit of an outsider, but I love this team. But, I'm really happy for the fans of Jacksonville for having a great organization and just being able to be happy because, I live up here in the Northeast and, this team gets beaten down a lot. And I really hate it. But the thing about it is that, hey, look, I'm looking at it this way. One game at a time, take your time, do your job, let's get it done. And, hey, you know what? When we win this thing, when we, Jacksonville, the Jaguars, win this thing, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear no complaining, no crying, or no, oh, well, that's a weak team because – no. We won the championship. But like I said, that's further down the road. We got business to take care of, and let us do that.
All right, Mac, thank you. We got to jump in here, Logs. You want to weigh in there?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing he brought up, Mac did, about the early part of the ball game, and it definitely wanted the Jaguars to settle down, and that I think you got to give a lot of credit to Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the one thing that Denver was doing, and I know you guys probably really couldn't tell or hear this through the TV, and maybe you could, that the PA announcer was definitely very loud, and almost like every time the Jaguars had the ball, they were making announcements and having music and all that kind of stuff. And I know there's NFL regulations and stuff, but then when the Denver Broncos were on offense, they weren't having any kind of that. So a little gamesmanship, by the Denver home advantage stadium situation, and the Jaguars ended up handling it. And when they got to the line with about 15 seconds left in the play clock, if you went back and looked at it, they had a much greater percentage chance of successful plays. When they got to the line of scrimmage with 10 seconds or less on the play clock, they were scrambling just to get the plays off. And I thought they had a really good plan to mix it up when, with the snap count, silent head nods, and all of that with the center, and dealt with that, I think, in strong fashion. Now, early in the game, again, it was a little bit, concerning, but everything smoothed out for the offense, and that was huge.
And I think it's really important for a team that looks like it's got the potential to make a deep playoff run. And it's unclear how much of that's going to be played here in Jacksonville or on the road if they're going to make that kind of run, to be in that kind of environment and feel what that felt like early. I mean, you were there, Jeff. The energy in that building from everyone that I've heard or talked to that was there, like it felt like a playoff atmosphere there in Denver with the energy they were bringing, right? So it's good for them to feel that, work through that, and get it back on track, where early on, that's what it felt like to me. It's like, I feel like I'm watching a playoff game. The energy in the building felt like that, and they were able to play through it.
Yeah, there was nothing this year that even came close to the atmosphere at Denver. I mean, Cincinnati, maybe, was pretty good. San Francisco wasn't really there. And at Houston, it's never a big deal there. At least it hasn't been in recent time. But yeah, that was definitely the most challenging atmosphere that this football team's ever played in. And you guys could probably hear this on TV. And just to give people an example, everybody in the stadium, literally, when the Jaguars are on offense, they picking their feet up and stomping it. So they're sitting in their seat and they're picking their feet up and just stomping it, to the point where when you watch the all 22 shot and watching video of the Jaguars on offense, the camera is shaking. So the entire fan base has a way to make it. Now, I know exactly where the cameras were at. They were right down the hallway from us. So the fans are literally making the camera shake, taking video of the game. When the Broncos were on offense, the cameras were dead still. So the amount of noise and the amount of literally bass by them beating their feet on the stands is just incredible. And then it is credit to Denver. Look, that's their 461st consecutive sellout game, dating back to week 1 of 1970. I mean, it's tremendous environment to play in, arguably one of the best in the National Football League.
No, it was. And the irony is it hurt Denver when they hit Trevor Lawrence late, wiping out a would-be Jaguar penalty, giving the Jags an automatic first down and route to their first score of the game. So it's just ironic that he couldn't hear the whistle coming around the corner. I don't think he had any malicious intent other than to lay a big hit on the opposing quarterback, but just worked out well for the Jags, and fortunately for Trevor Lawrence, he's able to play through that. Let's get to Cody before we hit the break here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Cody, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, Mike, you should have asked those Bronco fans on Twitter last night if they wanted some fries with that salt. Because, boy, they were salty, I'll tell you what.
A lot of them are. That Jags have been doing that to fan bases all year.
Definitely, man, definitely. But I definitely want to wish you guys Merry Christmas as well. But Jeff, I just want to ask, I didn't really get a chance to go back and watch the game again or the tape, but Zach on Benito.
Say again?
Benito, I heard Benito.
Yeah, I heard what Cody, you were breaking up there a little bit. Jeff, talk about the job they did. Benito was, I think he had 2 tackles officially in the game, but obviously no sacks.
Yeah, I thought that Cole Van Lanen did a good job. I don't think it was a great job, but I thought it was a good job. There was some pressure allowed, obviously, because the Broncos got, I think it was like 5 sacks in that ball game. But the reality is the coverage, I thought, was the big difference in that. There was a lot of coverage sacks in that situation. But I will say this, Cole Van Lanen made himself a lot of money in that game. He's been making himself a lot of money in the games leading up to that because he's scheduled for free agency. And that performance on the road against a guy that's third in the National Football League in sacks, and Nick Benito came into the game with 12 and a half. half and had him pretty silent. Now, there was a few leaky pressures here and there, but it was more due to the fact that the coverage was there and Trevor was trying to do something with his legs and sometimes ran into some of that pass rush. So it was definitely a strong game for Cole Van Lanen. I think he is basically going to be the left tackle to close the season out.
That's what it looks like. We'll get more into the offensive line as we go along this hour. I'll get back to more of your calls coming up as well at 641-1010. Cody, thank you, and Mac as well. On this Check the Tape Tuesday, we roll on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford. How about treating yourself for Christmas this season? It's truck time at big number one Duval Ford. You can check out Duval Ford's huge selection of brand new F-150s, America's best-selling truck for over 40 years. And right now, enjoy one by driving it home with an incredible 0% financing for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. That's right, no interest, no payments till next year. Your new F-150 is waiting at big number one Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue, or online at DuvalFord.com.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
With the sun setting earlier, Hidden Hills Golf Club has expanded our twilight specials, so you can take advantage of our afternoon rates and get your round in before dark. Book today at hiddenhillsgc.com and enjoy this beautiful fall weather.
Picking here, this holiday, skip the gift that gets returned. I got a better idea. Give a custom pool from Surfside Pool. It's the ultimate present. Memories, relaxation, and instant hero status. Surfside Pools handles new builds, custom designs, heating, and weekly maintenance, so you get all the credit. Warning, may cause excessive smiles and backyard envy. Save the holidays, turn your backyard into paradise. Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Float happy, gift responsibly. License number CPC 044080.
It's a Jaguars Today Tuesday, sparked by Julington Creek Pest Control.
I know it's football season, but I know you love basketball too. And youth sports are always in season at the First Coast YMCA. Registration is now open for winter basketball at the Y. Today, more than ever, our kids need to experience the joy of being a kid while also learning the importance of teamwork, respect, and healthy living. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, fun environment with an exciting youth basketball league. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Really want to light up the night this New Year's Eve? Superior Fireworks on Blanding Boulevard has something for everyone on any budget. Their holiday sale is happening right now. Shop early and save big on their massive selection of quality fireworks. Don't get stuck with the same old this year. Let Superior Fireworks help you customize an amazing celebration with fountains, shells, repeaters, and grand finale racks. Visit the store in Orange Park or online at superiorfireworks.com.
This bowl season, upgrade your game plan with a visit to Burlock & Barrel, Duval's first distillery dedicated solely to whiskey, right in the Brooklyn Riverside neighborhood. Stop in to see how we turn local grains into small batch whiskey, earning awards at every competition. Book a tour, settle in for a tasting, or escape the scoreboard for a bit at our full whiskey bar. Whether your team's winning or character building, at least your whiskey can be solid. At Burlock & Barrel in Riverside or burlockandbarrel.com.
The new Ackerman Cancer Center is now open at World Golf Village, providing state-of-the-art screenings and diagnostic exams with no referral required. Same-day appointments are available. Call today or visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Aaron Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, moving along here on a Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here at World Headquarters. Jeff, we were just remarking as an extra added bonus for the holiday season. Tony and I were enjoying the fact that Tennessee, by winning, now has ownership of the 5th pick in the draft. They can't even blow their season the right way, man. I mean, because, I'm not saying it's a great quarterback class, but if Mendoza turns out to be like the one that everyone agrees on, somebody's going to get paid off at the top of the draft if they don't need a quarterback themselves.
Probably
and
the Giants.
Doesn't look like it's going to be the Tennessee Titans right now. So that's fun as well. When the knife gets to be twisted a little bit, Logs. There are a lot of teams on a lot of winning and losing streaks right now, bro. We were just looking at it. The Colts have lost 5 in a row. The Browns have lost 4 in a row. The Raiders have lost 9 in a row. The Giants have lost 9 in a row. The Cardinals have lost 7 in a row. And then you've got the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Chargers, who've all won at least 4 in a row, the Bills as well. So, obviously, teams heading in opposite directions, Logs, and that's what you got to do. You got to not just limp into the postseason. You want to be playing your best football when you get there, right?
Yeah, and I think that really goes to the point we were talking about earlier, and that, you want to make sure that you take care of your business and focus on this week and not sit there and go, oh yeah, we're in the playoffs and now we can kind of relax and coast and we're a good football team and everybody's patting you on your back, and I think that's the one great thing that Liam Cohn has done a really good job is making this team focus in on what's important and not get distracted and think that they've arrived or anything of that nature. So, but it's always a challenge. Every week it's a challenge because, just like Trayvon Walker was talking about, there's going to be people wanting to jump on the bandwagon, and there is. I mean, when you beat a team like Denver, who's won 11 consecutive games, and you beat them in their house and you beat them by 14 points, people are going to notice. And so, you got to have that ability to fight off human nature and to kind of have the ability to focus and get back to work. And hopefully this team has that focus this week, just because I expect them to have that.
I do too. Like, that is not an issue that I'm worried about at all for this team. Like, we can sit here and I can go, I don't see many ways the Colts are going to beat this Jags team the way they're playing. They don't have that attitude, and that's one of the reasons why I don't see many ways, right? They're not going to go, hey, this is a team that's limping in, having lost 5 in a row. They're going to take care of their business, and that really showed up to me 2 weeks ago when they played the Jets, because you knew the Denver game was going to have bigger implications, and it was only a week away, but they've been able to stay focused on the task at hand.
Divisional matchups are tricky, man. You can't take your hands off the wheel on those.
Right. I think they'll show up with the full force and effort of what they're able to bring to the table. So let's just hope it's good enough to get the win, and we'll go from there. Let's go to Nate and Bartram next up on a Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman. Nate, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. I had a question, or more of an observation. About 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, when they forced us to kick that field goal, we didn't get a touchdown. We went up 34-20, and it looked, when you looked at the coach on the sideline, you looked at Trevor, they looked so disappointed. And that was impressive to me because I was cheering. Like, you go up 14 points in the fourth quarter, you're feeling pretty damn good.
Actually, Nate, let me just interject. That actually put them up 17 in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I'm sorry, 17.
No, that's okay, because that was a big field goal because it made it a 3-score game at that point.
Exactly. So I'm thrilled about that. But then you look at them, and they look like they just turned the ball over. They're disappointed. But to me, I find that so impressive. It's like the mindset that they have now, and this hasn't been, in Jacksonville for that long. Like, we haven't been that, like, I don't know. We haven't had that mindset, I feel like, where we're disappointed to not get touchdowns over field goals. So, anyway, I was happy that they weren't just high-fiving there. They were, you could see they were expecting to score touchdowns that game, and they're not thrilled. And, so anyway,
I got what you're saying, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the call as well. Like,
the whole team reflects it right now.
Logs, I was sitting there like, go ahead and run it one more time because I'll take the 3 right now to basically at least. And I know what happened against Houston, but I felt like 3-score advantage at that point. That made me very happy when that field goal went through. But what about Nate's contention that they're just not satisfied with just good enough?
Well, I mean, specifically on that drive, they got the fumble with the fumbled exchange, and so they got the ball on Denver's 34-yard line. So, I mean, as an offense, anytime you get that kind of field position, if you don't punch it in, you're disappointed. And on top of that, that was the only time the Jaguars did not convert in the red zone, which, at the beginning of the game, Bucky Brooks did a great job talking about this team needs to take advantage of the opportunities. And that's one of the areas that he was referring to. And the Jaguars did a tremendous job in that category. They also did a tremendous job on third down. In a hostile environment with the crowd the way it was, with the pass rush that the Denver Broncos had, they were over 50% on third down, and then they were 4 of 5 in the red zone. I mean, that's just tremendous numbers on top of not turning the ball over as an offense. So kudos to the offense because they did a tremendous job in those categories that were so important in a game on the road.
Why are they having that success on third down and in the red zone right now?
Quarterback. It's quarterback. I mean, look, and the quarterback can't do it alone, but he's playing at a level that hasn't been seen. Let me go back to what you guys were talking about, that hit that Trevor took. I mean, if you slow it down, and which, in the film room this week, I'm going to show you and slow it down. Think about that hit. I mean, that hit, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that might not have gotten up. And if anybody ever questioned Trevor Lawrence's toughness, take a look at that play. And then take a look at his performance in that game after that hit. I mean, he was like Gumby. I mean, getting bent in half the way that the body's not meant to be bent. And then he comes back, and I don't know how he didn't have some type of injury from that hit, because it was a vicious hit by PJ Locke when Trevor's not expecting it. I mean, that's typically a bad situation to be in. And he was able to bounce back, and a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of individuals would have kind of said, well, this game's pretty tough, and took a big hit, and they would cower. Trevor Lawrence never cowered 1 minute in that ball game. I mean, from that point on to the rest of the game, he might have been even tougher. It was impressive to watch. I mean, even with the scrambles that he had, the way that he was handling those situations was impressive.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of impressive play by the Jags to dissect. We'll come back. Let's look at some of the guys on the offensive line, because several of them got called in due to injury, and we'll see through the eyes of Jeff Lageman how they all individually perform. More of your calls coming up as well at 641-1010 on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. The Jags crushed the Colts at the bank. Now it's time to finish with a flourish. It's division domination in Indy. Jaguars, Colts, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Shulington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Football season is all about the big moments. How about some killer wings and cold ones to go along with it? Check out Hurricane Grill and Wings on St. Augustine Beach. Tons of TVs so you don't miss any of the action, but still that open-air atmosphere you crave. Hurricane Grill and Wings on A1A in St. Augustine.
Helmets and Heels calls on Jags former middle linebacker Tom McManus to elevate your afternoon.
He's the best. Guys gotta know.
Catch the pros' point of view afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL. Fought for you by Greenlaw Group. For the injured, fighting for you.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Advanced window tinting for your home, business, or vehicle using 3M Sun Control window film lowers costs, heat, glare, privacy, and security. 10% off if you mention this. Holiday gift cards available. Advanced window tinting, 262-9919.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
I'm with Trevor Cycles of Jacksonville. We always talk about Honda, Triumph, so many great bikes, but Aprilia from Italy is also a beautiful line.
It is absolutely gorgeous, and it is a fine sport bike. It's one that when you take your helmet off, you're never frowning. You're always smiling.
So if you want to treat yourself to something really special on the road, that's a line they should look into?
Absolutely, and we've got them in stock and ready to roll.
All right, make sure you check them out. They are on Atlantic near Regency. CyclesofJacksonville.com is a great place to go, or check out their Facebook page at Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Loggy, before we get back to these phone calls, I've been teasing it. Let's get into a little bit of the offensive line. You mentioned Cole Van Lanen's making himself a bunch of money. I'm particularly interested in 2 guys that got called in off the bench, Walker Little, Jonah Monheim. How do you think they performed this week?
I thought Walker Little did a really good job, and that was impressive. Look, a guy that probably wasn't very happy about what could be viewed as a demotion. Called to action, steps in at right guard, that hasn't gotten a ton of reps, although in practice, he's getting reps at left guard, left tackle, is that kind of guy. Next guy in with Cole Van Lanen playing left tackle. Did a great job, thought he finished strong. And Monheim got bumped a little bit on a couple games, but he's a pretty good player. He's got some strength to him that a lot of rookies don't have. So if those 2 guys need to play this week, I have full confidence in their abilities.
All right, well, good. And any intel on that, or what do you think, Hainsey and McCary? I thought, by the way, maybe your best call of the year, pointing out, watch out for McCary in the very next play. He gets beat inside very easily, and that was the last play he played. And Trevor ended up taking that big sack. If you had to guess, is either one of them likely to be able to go by the upcoming weekend?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. Those guys have shown that they can be pretty tough. But you don't want to have somebody playing that just can't play to their ability. Look, you want everybody to be able to be available, But if it takes a week or two to get back to being, near 100%, because nobody's going to be 100% this year, to where that individual can get back to playing at a high level, then, you take that opportunity as a team to sit them and let somebody else play for the time being. So, and the Jaguars have been very fortunate this year. They've done a very good job at handling the injuries and allowing players time to rest. Sean Surratt and Kalili, who is the backup offensive line or the assistant offensive line coach, those two guys do a tremendous job, and I expect them to handle the situation very well, whatever's called for.
All right, back to the calls we go. I got a bunch of them here, so let's go to Dave in New Jersey next up on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to just highlight I feel like the coaching job this year it's just been outstanding. I watched I think it was I forgot the guy on ESPN. I think Dan highlighted how we run multiple plays off of the same set, and he pretty much showed an example where I think Tootin had ran run play, and then in the third quarter that's when he threw a touchdown to ETN. Overall, I just feel like the coaching job was just on both sides of the ball. Even the defense when Coach Campione was getting guys fired up, and he kind of tightened up that. It was just overall, I just feel like it's just an outstanding overall team, and I feel like we are getting a little bit more respected, at least when in terms of national media, when it comes to really being like a top tier team to really look out for. So it's just great to have a team like that, and thank you for taking my call.
All right, Dave. Just in general, Logs, what has impressed you the most about the coaching staff in let's say the last 6-game winning streak here?
Well, I think first of all, the way that this team has been ready to play every week that's hard to do. And the one game that was the exception was the one over in London against the Rams. But other than that, this football team has come ready to play each and every week. The unselfishness of this football team, I think, really stands out, and you got to attribute that to coaching because, look at the offensive line. When I'm talking about Walker Little here, and Cole Van Lanen, and McCary, and Ezra Cleveland. I mean, all these guys have missed time, and other guys have stepped in and had to play, but there's never been any animosity or any players that have been disgruntled with that offensive line. The same thing applies for the wide receiver group. Jacoby and Parker and Brian and Diami and Tim. I think they're all happy for when everybody gets their opportunity. The same thing can be applied for the defensive backfield. I mean, you got 3 safeties that are all sharing playing time, and Antonio Johnson, Andrew Wingard, and Eric Murray. Has anybody voiced their disappointment that they're not getting more reps as starters? No. Same thing goes to the cornerback room, with Jarian and Jordan and Greg Newsome and Monteric Brown, and everybody's kind of rotating and everybody's supporting one another. And that's hard to find and it's hard to accomplish, but it has to be led by the quality of the coaching, and that's been very impressive to me.
Logs, and speaking to the Liam Cohen thing right now, it seemed to me that Cohen and Trevor were able to take advantage of the noise in Denver at times to snap the ball before the Broncos could even get themselves situated on defense, communicate what they needed to get communicated. I can remember specifically the Trevor touchdown run with the Broncos defense overreacting to Brian Thomas Jr. being in the backfield and motioning out, and you watch 2 or 3 guys ran with him, and Trevor was able to basically walk into the end zone. Did you see the same kind of thing when you were watching it on tape?
Well, let's go back to the game against the Jets, Tony, where you got 4 touchdowns by Jaguars running backs, and you go and look at that Bashal Tootin touchdown where you had the eye candy of ETN and all this motion, and it's designed to attract the eyes of the linebackers, and then Bashal Tootin slips out. I mean, just another example of a great play call. The Brian Thomas Jr. lined up in the backfield. Now you create who's covering who problems for a defense that plays a lot of man coverage. So does the linebacker have to be removed? Typically, yes. And so that was the whole design there. Get the linebacker split out with the running back, have a defensive back lined up as a linebacker, and then you run it with Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor did a great job, by the way, on that play because it was designed to go inside the kick out block of Ezra Cleveland. but the defender edge player closed it perfectly, and I believe it was Jonathan Cooper, and Trevor just bounced it to the outside and did a great job with there. The other thing you talk about is the quick snap or the quick count. That was all part of their management plan for the noise. Have some plays that you go into the huddle and say, it's because they've talked extensively and you guys have talked about it, where they come to the line of scrimmage and they can plays or change the play. Well, there's certain situations they wanted to take advantage of quick snaps, so they would go to the line of scrimmage and not have the ability to change the play. What the whole design is to go quick count, so you can catch them off guard, because the Jaguars run so much at the line of scrimmage, the defense sometimes is relaxed and not ready to go. So that was all part of the plan. And I think the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit, because at times they caught them off guard, but the reality is Denver's good. At times, the Denver Broncos were forcing the Jaguars offense to snap the ball with literally 0 seconds on the play clock. And you could see that the Jaguars were off balance at times. So it was a back and forth, but overall, the sum total of it, obviously the score represents it. The Jaguars won that battle.
All right, one more before we hit the break. Simon in San Marco is next up on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Simon.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I heard you listing the Pro Bowlers, and I'm just really surprised that Cam Little is not even on that list. I mean, he only set the NFL record with a 68-yarder. I mean, I know he had a hiccup game in Seattle, but, I mean, I just can't believe he was left off. And then I want to look ahead to Indianapolis, and I'm just thinking, they have that big winning streak that they obviously are keeping in mind and wanting to break our, and of course, they still are clinging to the hope that they could still make it a wild card if they win their last 2 games. What do you guys think about in reference to Phillip Rivers and what he's doing, and how we're going to take and go into Indianapolis after having that big, huge game and then over in Denver? Is there going to be any kind of letdown? You think that now that we're in the playoffs, which is awesome to be a part of that in the dance, but what do you guys think overall with those 2 points? And I'll take them off the air. Thanks for taking.
All right, thank you, Simon. What do you say, Logs?
Well, as far as start with Phillip Rivers. Look, the improvement that he made from his first game to his second game was definitely on display last night. I expect him to make similar improvement in game 3, being back. And I think it will be a challenge for the Jaguars defense, just because if you got a hole, he's going to find it. He's got the great experience behind him. But, the reality is that he doesn't have the arm strength to make some of the throws, which was also on display last night against the 49ers. Do I worry about the team being ready? Yeah. Just because, you worry about those kind of things, because everybody's telling the Jaguars and talking about the Jaguars in such a positive light right now. And this is a little different position than this football team has been in. So am I concerned? Sure. But I'm also confident that they've been able to get this football team ready to play in the past, and I expect them to do the same.
All right, in terms of Cam Little, by the way, if you look just in the AFC, he's made 25 field goals, right? If you take the guys that have made 20 or more, he's 9th in accuracy. If you take the guys who made 25 or more, he's 6th in accuracy. He was not going to make the Pro Bowl based off of 1 kick. He went through a stretch where, unfortunately, he missed some kicks. And in today's NFL, everybody kicks 85% plus, and he's at 86%. There are a bunch of guys in the AFC that have Cameron Dicker's 36 out of 38, for instance. Cam Little's 25 out of 29. So,
and the numbers of what that comes down to, Mike. I've been in those Pro Bowl voting meetings with special teams, and listen to what they talk about. That's what they do. They go and look at the numbers. It's a strictly a number and accuracy decision. And is the NFL record kick a factor? Sure. It would be a factor if Cam Little had comparable numbers in overall accuracy and points scored with other kickers in the National Football League.
That's right. Like, for instance, he's 5 of 7 beyond 50. Cam Dicker is 5 of 6. Joey Sly's 7 out of 11. Nick Folk is 7 out of 8. There are a lot of guys making long-range field goals these days. We love Cam Little, don't get me wrong, but it's a crowded field right now. All right, we're going to take a time out. We'll come back, stay on the line if you're there, and we'll get to your call coming out at 641-1010 as we enter hour 2 of a Check the Tape Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. A great season often depends on keeping your best players on the field.
Let me know if he's ever going to play football again, or do I need to find me another wide receiver?
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville.
Come on, you can't play without me. On 1010XL.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 23rd, 1972, the Pittsburgh Steelers' Franco Harris makes the famous Immaculate Reception in the AFC Divisional Playoff game against the Oakland Raiders.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Crown Ring, engagement rings and bands fit for royalty. Crown Ring brings your dreams to life with a vast selection of styles and spectacular precious metals. Beards is showcasing the entire Crown Ring collection with unmatched craftsmanship, design, and comfort. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, 1010XL fans, it's game time, but don't get sidelined from the fun. The JTA Game Day Express is the smartest way to get to the bank on time. It's all sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. There are 5 convenient pickup locations across the River City, but remember, Game Day Express is cashless. All passes must be purchased through the MyJTA mobile app. Get your $10 pass today. For all of your game day needs, go to myjtafla.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Hicken here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The holidays are here, and before you hit the road, make sure your car is ready. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you'll get an expert oil change in 15 minutes with no appointment, and you never leave your car. Stop by any of their convenient Jacksonville locations and let the pros get you holiday travel ready. With a 4.7 national customer rating and ranked #1 quick lube in America by Forbes, Valvoline gives you quick, trusted service when it matters most. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in today and travel with confidence this holiday season.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF. Trevor Lawrence, once again, is nominated for NFL Player of the Week honors for the second consecutive week after winning the award for Week 15. In Week 16 at Denver, Lawrence completed 23 passes for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 115.4 to go with 6 rushes for 20 yards and a touchdown. He becomes the 4th player since 1970 with 10 total touchdowns and 0 turnovers in a 2-game span. Right now, 70 degrees at 11:05. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
I don't think of this as a Logs walk-up song necessarily, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe Logs had that high top fade back in the early 90s at some point. I don't recall it. But, all right, we enter hour 2 of a Check the Tape Tuesday. Jaguars Today. Jeff Lageman at a remote locale. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you at World Headquarters. Logs, we got a bunch of them on social media I'll get to coming up, but trying to prioritize some of these phone calls. So let's get Buddy in Arlington in with his question or comment. Buddy, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My call was dropped. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to call, man. I wanted to speak to Trevor's toughness. I know he gets a bad rep, I guess, for his inconsistency, but what he has been consistent with since he's been a Jag is his toughness. He's brought toughness, a culture of toughness to this organization. We've seen him play in the knee brace. He's had toe injuries. He's had elbow, shoulder, and he's been there. So I just want to say, whatever his rep is, he needs to have a reputation for being tough, and he's brought toughness to this organization. I would like to take y'all's comment off air and go Jags.
All right, go Jags indeed. Thanks for the call, man. Logs, you were talking about this a little bit just in reflection of the hit he took. What about the overall picture of Trevor Lawrence in that category?
Yeah, I think he definitely has a level of toughness that I respect, and it's not easy to call a quarterback tough, but I think he definitely fits the bill. The thing that I think also has impressed me, especially this year, is that he's been mentally tough. The season exactly, the early part of the season, wasn't exactly going the way I think that he wanted it. I mean, the performance of the quarterback was kind of lacking, and you had a great running game that was kind of pulling this offense along. And Trevor just kind of kept at it. Sometimes it takes a level of mental toughness to continue to work and to continue to try to get better and to block out the noise and of hearing people talk about how you're not worth the number 1 overall pick from a couple of years ago and you're struggling. So I give him a ton of credit. And that's probably the most important trait to have as a quarterback is a level of mental toughness, and I think he definitely has it.
All right.
Yeah, we saw Trevor in the tunnel before the game, if you've seen the video logs, right, with him talking to the guys on offense about what they had heard from Denver all week and what their plan to do to the Broncos with all that noise was as they were walking out onto the field. As a player on a roster in the NFL, now you were obviously on the defensive side of the ball, but what do you want from your quarterback regarding how loud they need to be to lead the team with any of that noisy stuff, which is something some people have criticized Trevor for not being more emotional at times on the field? But what do you need from your quarterback in that regard as far as what they show on the field?
Well, I think it's interesting that this game this week is probably going to put 2 quarterbacks on display. They're very different, because a lot of people want Trevor Lawrence to show more of what Phillip Rivers shows, that fiery, competitive, talk a lot, show that emotion type of player. And Trevor's just not that type, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have that. Sometimes guys have it. They just have a different way of expressing it. And sometimes you also appreciate the fact that somebody has a little bit more emotional control. And I think that's the great thing about Liam and Trevor. I think they have a lot of balance to each other. And I think that helps both of them in a lot of respects. So uh, I like the way that Trevor is leading, and I think the more success that he has, the more ownership of the offense that he takes control of, the more ownership of the team that he's going to be able to take control of. Because the reality is this: until you're a good player and you're playing well for a football team or for your football team, it's hard to be a good leader. I mean, that's just the reality, because a lot of times it falls on deaf ears. If somebody is, the 30th ranked passer in the National Football League, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. They're not going to be able to lead. You have to have performance before you can lead. And when you have strong performance, it makes it a lot easier for the words that you've spoken to be heard by the ears in that huddle or by the ears in that locker room.
All right, back to the lines with Daniel in Stuart, Florida. Next up on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Daniel.
Hey, guys. Always enjoy the show. First, Dylan, I was surprised Sean Payton's comment after the game did not make it into a show open. I was wondering if they would appear. Second thing is, I was listening to Kurt Warner talk to Rich Eisen, and he said before the Rams game, Trevor Lawrence said to them that no one had ever really talked about his footwork and connecting it with the route progression. And I don't know. I kind of found that hard to believe, that the whole time Doug was here, the way, we saw all the stories about Trevor flipping his feet and how he's going to, stand the other way. But the backstory on all that is no one had ever tied those two things together, his route progression and his footwork. And I was just curious, it's over now. How disconnected was Doug Peterson or maybe Press from the development of the quarterback, and how distant did they have to be for something that fundamental to never even get addressed?
All right, Daniel, appreciate it. By the way, Dylan's got limited time to put all the greatest hits in the open, and he went with what he went with by request because I wanted to get Trayvon in there, but thank you. I appreciate it. Wags, what about that? I mean, beyond just the quarterback, but specifically to Daniel's point about the quarterback, but other players that have been holdovers seem to be flourishing more than ever under various elements of this coaching staff. So what about Daniel's point?
Well, I think he brings up a great point, and that this coaching staff is not afraid to coach and to coach hard, and they hold the players to a level of accountability that I think hasn't been seen in a long time. And that's what you're looking for, if you're ownership and Shad Khan, that's the kind of coach that you want to have, is somebody that can get the best out of the players that are in that locker room. And Dewey Wingard, we talked to after the game, and he didn't exactly use this words that I'll use, but that Trevor's getting coached hard, and coached hard, but with a level of respect. And I think that's what it takes to be successful. And the one thing that Liam Cohen and his staff have always preached, it's accountability. And when you can own some of your own mistakes, and I don't know if you guys happen to see Liam Cohen talking about some bad calls that he have, and he wanted to admit that in front of the team. I mean, if you can end up doing that and admitting your mistakes, then that's a lot easier to ask of the players to admit and own their mistakes, so that you can get better in all aspects, whether it's coaching or playing or whatever. So that's the part, I think, that again goes back to what we talked about at the beginning, that coaching matters, and Liam Cohen has a certain way of communicating with the players that gets received at a very high level. And that part of that is being coached hard and being able to give the messages that require the players to hear it in order for them to get better. And it's fun to watch because you can see it in the results.
All right. Fun to cover as well, I'll tell you that. Much more than the alternative. We'll get more of your calls coming up. Also get a 10-10 take from Logs on the state of the Jags running game. That and more coming your way on a Check the Tape Tuesday. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Putting the fence in defense.
The ball comes out! The ball has come out!
Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.
Jaguars Today Tuesday is serviced by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet, where there's chances galore to put a little extra winnings under the tree this holiday season. Santa's checked his list twice, and you're on the Hard Rock Bet Nice list. Sign up now. Bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you'll win $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings stuffed in your stocking. Now that's holiday magic. It's all on the Hard Rock Bet app. Download it now. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lageman. We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Really want to light up the night this New Year's Eve? Superior Fireworks on Blanding Boulevard has something for everyone on any budget. Their holiday sale is happening right now. Shop early and save big on their massive selection of quality fireworks. Don't get stuck with the same old this year. Let Superior Fireworks help you customize an amazing celebration with fountains, shells, repeaters, and grand finale racks. Visit the store in Orange Park or online at superiorfireworks.com.
Morgan Conley Roofing isn't just repairing roofs. He's building a legacy for generations to come. Born here, built here, staying here. MorganConleyRoofing.org. License number CCC 1333544.
In Northeast Florida, power outages are unavoidable, but losing comfort, security, and peace of mind doesn't have to be. With a Generac home standby generator from American Electrical Contractors, your power comes back on automatically the moment an outage begins. As Jacksonville's leading and one of the longest-running Generac dealers, American Electrical Contracting has the experience you deserve. Be prepared. Protect your home and family. Protect your business. Generac standby generators from American Electrical Contractors. Call 737-7770 or online at american-electrical.com.
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Did you know that individuals over age 60 have great results on Awaken 180? See how you could drop weight and get off your medications in just 3 months with Awaken 180's Golden Program. Visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, Jags fans, Tommy Mack here. Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with Crown Royal Rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/Royal Rig on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Jeff Lageman here with us. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. We got one on the line, Log, so let's get to Brandon, then we'll get to the State of the Jags running game coming up here in a moment. Brandon, you're on Jaguars Today. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for getting me on. Two things real quick. Trevon's hand is shrinking by game, and them moving him around the line, I think, was very advantageous. It's going to help in the playoffs as well. What do you think about Logs? Just how I think he played his best game against Denver.
Logs, were you able to hear that? Trevon, just the way they're utilizing him and how he's playing right now.
Yeah, I think he's playing well, but I still think he's still a ways away from playing his best, just because he's got the knee thing, he's still got the wrist thing, and those are definitely impacting his ability to be at his best. But I thought he's been playing very well. Before the game, we're one of our key players to watch was Trayvon Walker, and I said that they need him to play like the bully that he can be, and at times he does, but you can definitely tell that he doesn't quite have all of his tools from his tool bag just because of the injuries that he's had. But I got a lot of respect for Trayvon because he does play the game in a strong fashion, and he gives you 100% effort every single time. So I expect him to continue to get more healthy and continue to get better as the season continues to roll along because he's a good football player now. I mean, the guy definitely has a level of power that a lot of guys just don't have.
Yeah, no question. All right, but still more room for growth there. Let's get to today's 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brightened up by First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
All right, Logs, this is a question posed by Miguel. It's a good one, I think. How do we get the running game back on track, in terms of being able to run the ball when even the other team knows it's coming? I mean, Travis Etienne had 16 carries this week, only for 50 yards. Look, Denver came in second only to Jacksonville in terms of run defense, but it does seem like teams are trying to stack the box and stop the run, but Trevor Lawrence has been able to exploit that in recent weeks. Do you think maybe we'll start to see a shift in the other direction and this running game will pick up?
I think we could see a shift in the other direction just because the opposing defensive coordinators are going to start giving more respect to the Jaguars passing game. In light of obviously 4 consecutive games for Trevor of having 100+ rating. But I think the question and observation is real, and it's Miguel, right, who had that observation. Because if you look at the numbers, the last 4 games that the Jaguars have had running the football, they're only averaging 3.2 yards per rush. And that comes out to be about 90.5 yards per game. The first 11 games of the season, they were averaging 4.4 yards per rush and 128 yards a game. So it's definitely fallen off over the last number of games. And a lot of that is the level of defensive coordinators' attention to stopping the Jaguars' run game. And so you sometimes still have to have the ability to run it even when they stack the box, just like the Denver Broncos did this past game. And you got to have the ability to loosen up that box a little bit with some successful passes. And so it will be interesting to see how the defensive coordinators in the last couple games view the Jaguars offense and view Trevor Lawrence. I think there was a lack of belief in Trevor Lawrence over the last couple games, and a lack of respect towards Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars passing game. And we'll see if that level of respect changes, and if so, and they loosen up their run defensive coverage, then the Jaguars have to get back to some of the rushing numbers of old and maybe even get better.
Yeah, Logs, I kind of look at it, and I talked about it a little bit last week a couple different times. The thing that Liam Cohen was able to do as the OC in Tampa was whatever you made available to him, he took advantage of. Right, and that's more how I view this Jaguars offense right now. If you're going to play soft against the run, they'll run. If you're going to play soft at all against the pass, they're going to throw, right? And it feels like Liam Cohen is very comfortable not being committed too much to one or the other of those. It's, you're going to give us this, we're going to take it, right, at this point. And for the last several weeks, I'm with you. I think teams have said we can't let them run the way that they were running earlier in the season. And if Trevor's going to be playing like this, you can try to stop the run all you want. Trying to stop Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bear for defenses, it feels like right now.
Yeah, and your observation, I think, is great, and about Liam's offense, that, hey, look, if you're going to do this, we'll do that. And the reason that I think that observation is spot on, look at the design of the offense. When Trevor's in the huddle, he's got a very lengthy play call where he's making a lot of times 2 different play calls in the huddle. Then he comes out, they get to the line of scrimmage, and then you see Trevor take his hands and go to his ears, and that's the can play. They can the first play, and then they're going to the second play. And sometimes it's designed to, hey, look, they're stacking the box, and we had a run call that was, the first play called, and since they're stacking the box, we're going to go to the second play, which is a pass. So the whole design of the offense to give the quarterback the flexibility at the line of scrimmage to get the offensive best play for that particular defense that the Jaguars are facing is by design what you're talking about. And that's the thing I think that's I think that's taken time for Trevor to assimilate and to get comfortable in, because it's very wordy, it's very lengthy, it's very complicated compared to what Trevor's been asked of before. But if you're giving your quarterback the best tools and the offense the best tools to find a better play than just one, I mean, who can complain about that? And it just takes a little bit more time to have that full understanding, to make that offense run seamlessly. And Trevor is really showing that that seamless, operation right now has been accomplished.
Yeah, by the way, the Colts defense last night allowed 117 on the ground to Christian McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy threw for 5 touchdowns. So pick your poison. Seemed to be in order last night as they gave up 48 points at home, and that's where the Jags are headed, of course, next Sunday. Let's get Dennis in Mayport next here with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Dennis.
Morning, fellas. This is a whole lot of fun and a cool transition to my question. I've been waiting to ask this until we clinch the playoff spot. But, Jeff, do you think that, Trevor's getting the hang of it now, and when you watch the offense from week to week, you don't see a lot of repetitiveness. Like, you see some similarities, but you don't see the same thing twice very often. And do coaches tend to, as we advance in the season, especially into the playoffs, do you tend to hold back certain concepts, formations, and schemes to keep some sort of element of surprise for the other team as you get late into the season?
Well, I think it's cool that you're saying, hey, we're not seeing the same thing week to week. And the reality is, Dennis, in some cases you are. They're just dressing it up in a different way, whether it be by formation or personnel. But some of the concepts are the same, and that's, I think, what the Jaguars coaching staff is doing a really good job. Because look, if you start changing everything from week to week, I mean, the whole concepts and everything, it's very difficult for an offense to assimilate the offensive game plan. But if it's the same concepts, but maybe just a different personnel grouping, then it's easier to kind of have that continuity from week to week. And so that's the one thing that I think that's been impressive with Liam, is that they're finding ways to make things look different when in reality they are the same in a lot of ways. And but they window dress it up, and it makes it very difficult for the opponents to dial in and to zero in on exactly what they're trying to accomplish as an offense. And that's a credit to coaching.
You know who Ben Kurt is, Logs? He played quarterback a little bit in the NFL, had a cup of coffee back in the day. Anyway, he does film breakdowns. I don't know if you've ever seen him, okay? Much like yourself, right? And he highlighted the one play where the Jags got up to the line of scrimmage. This is actually the play to Parker Washington where Trevor rolled left, right? He slid right, rolled left, and he got the first down for the Jags on their third drive of the game. And what he highlighted was the Jags sent everybody, including the wide receivers, out to their position, and Hainsey was the last one to break the huddle. Usually the center's often the first one to get to the ball, but he was the last one, and he stood there and kind of like checked to make sure everybody else was ready. The defensive line was kind of milling around because they were not in like, okay, they're about to snap it mode. He just bent down and immediately just snapped the ball. There was no signal or anything, and the signal was basically Hainsey's going to recognize when everyone's ready to go. And the result was, initially, for the first second or so on Trevor's drop, the defensive line was frozen in place. They didn't even engage with the offensive line. Did you notice that? And is that something that they're intentionally trying to work in to, help things out just a little bit?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about earlier about mixing it up with silent count, and that a play like that, you're not going to the line of scrimmage with 2 plays called to where you can out of. That's a design, get the line of scrimmage and just run it, because you're not going to change it. And just like that play where you're designing to run where Hainsey gets set, and then Hainsey's kind of taking his time because he wants everybody to get set, and then he comes to the line of scrimmage and the defenders are relaxed, and he does snap it basically on first down, or the first time he gets down on the ball to catch the defense a little bit off guard. It's no different than, okay, the next play, Hainsey is down over the ball and the crowd is incredibly loud, and then the huddle, they say it's on the second head bob. So Hainsey drops his head down, raises his head up, drops his head down a second time, raises it up, and then snaps it. And it's silent count, but it's on a silent nod 2. It might be a silent nod 3. Well, that particular instance was a play that's called. You're not going to change it, and it's basically as soon as Hainsey's set, he's going to snap the ball with no nod. So they did a really good job of having things in their tool bag for cadence, even though you're not actually calling cadence, to try to slow that Denver pass rush down. And that's just another example of the coaching staff doing a really good job of having a plan to prepare their offense to combat some of the strengths of the opponent. And obviously, the Denver Broncos' strength is rushing the passer and sacks, and that was one of the things they wanted to be able to have in their tool bag to combat it.
Yeah, somebody else along those lines said the Jags, on the opposite side, only had one sack, themselves, but he felt, this is Jeff on the X platform, felt that overshadowed what their goal was, which was to keep Bo Nix contained. Do you think that was part of their rush plan, was we may not get a lot of sacks, but we don't want Bo Nix leaking out the side and converting those 3rd and 7s with his feet?
Well, I think the reality is that you're not going to sack Bo Nix a lot. He's got an incredibly quick release. He does a great job of managing the pocket. So was the plan to not get sacks and to keep Bo Nix in the pocket? No, the plan was to get sacks and still try to keep Bo Nix in the pocket, but you got to give credit to Bo Nix because he does do a great job of getting rid of the ball in a hurry. He also does a great job of managing the pocket, and his offensive line is just kind of, I want to say, okay. He makes them a lot better than what they really are. If you let Bo Nix just start wandering aimlessly outside the pocket, it would have been a long day for the Jaguars coverage team. That was part of the plan, keep him in the pocket, but they still wanted to get sacks. They just weren't able to get them.
Maybe we should have let him get outside more and encourage him to step out of bounds before firing the football, because that certainly was a big play in the Jags' arsenal late in the game as well. All right, if you want to get in with Jeff, there's still time. 2 segments to go on a rapidly moving Check the Tape Tuesday. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Speed.
45-50.
Talent.
How high can you leap?
Opportunity.
Just when they needed it most.
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game. Experience the universal difference on 1010XL.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Jaguars Today Tuesday, kept pest-free by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Made to grab, made to go. Made just the way you like it. From breakfast sandwiches to melt-in-your-mouth bowls, Gates' made-to-order menu is custom, fresh, and convenient. When you want made-to-order goodness, Gates got you.
Ready to upgrade your home? It's Renewal by Andersen's 31-day sale. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2025 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us for our fan appreciation game as the Jaguars face off against the Tennessee Titans in a can't-miss division matchup. It's your chance to cheer on the team as they take the field in their Prowler throwbacks for one last time this season. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action. Go to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and if you're still looking for the perfect Christmas gift or you just want to treat your own truck right, head to Leonard Truck Outfitters this week. If it makes your truck look better, ride better, or work harder, Leonard's has it. And they install it all right there with the best team in town. If you're shopping for someone else or yourself, Leonard Truck Outfitters has you covered for Christmas. 2 easy locations, Landing and Beach Boulevard. Leonard Truck Outfitters, built for the way you work, play, and drive this Christmas.
Professional painters know the right finish starts with the right paint. That's why they trust First Coast Paint. Featuring Benjamin Moore paints and expert customer service, First Coast Paint keeps the pros stocked and rolling. No gimmicks, no big box confusion, just top quality Benjamin Moore paint, advice, and the best service in Jacksonville, period. Because real pros don't cut corners, they color them. First Coast Paint, with locations in St. John's and St. Augustine. Simply superior paint.
Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it's Rick Ballou. We got a fresh shipment of hard-to-find ProMaster vans, perfect for Section 179. My buddy Tommy and his team are committed to the community and make the process simple. Upfits, delivery, everything handled right. If you need ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, you need Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coatings, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, 2 more segments here with Jeff Lageman. We'll try to clear these phone calls coming up in just a moment. But first, Tony Smith going to catch us up around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
Baltimore is calling quarterback Lamar Jackson day-to-day with a back contusion. An MRI revealed that it's not a torn ACL for Kansas City quarterback Gardner Minshew, but the team is still placing him on injured reserve. LA Chargers linebacker Denzel Perriman has been suspended for 2 games for repeated violations of the playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players. Chargers running back Kamani Vidal is day-to-day with a neck strain. Washington has signed quarterback Jeff Driscoll off of the Arizona practice squad. Marcus Mariota suffered a hand injury on Saturday. His status for Thursday for the Commanders is in question. The Jets have announced that quarterback Brady Cook will be their starting quarterback again this week. And Pittsburgh wide receiver DK Metcalf is being suspended 2 games by the league after his confrontation with a fan in Detroit on Sunday.
Can't wait to see that NFL graphic of Josh Johnson and Max Brosmer and Chris Oladikin, who will all be starting on Christmas Day on a television set near you. Those are 3 of the 6 quarterbacks who will likely be starting here in a couple of days for the National Football League. All right, Lux, back to the lines we go. Jerry is on the west side and now on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful. What's up, man?
Hey, so I was going to say what I'm surprised from this coaching staff is the adjustments during the game. But you can see in the first drive with the offense and the defense, I say. Well, no, the offense, you see how it wasn't working. You see how like Liam was trying to feel out what the defense was trying to do. And the defense, too. You know, it was at the beginning of the game, towards the first half, it was a back-and-forth game until the defense really liked to tighten up and made Bo Nix make the difficult decisions. That's what I'm saying. I really love this in this coaching staff. I can tell these guys are very smart to make adjustments mid-game. And I think it comes out there. Thank you.
All right, well, that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, the coaching staff is doing a great job, and you know, the quarterback, I think, is definitely helping all of that perception. You know, the one thing I think that I wanted to get to this at some point. You know, you guys think back to the earlier part of the season and how many times that timeouts were called from the sideline by the head coach because the offense was running out of play clock. think back to earlier part of the season, the illegal shifts or illegal motions by the offense and how that was setting them back, the unforced errors, so to speak, by the offense. And then you fast forward to the game on Sunday in Denver, and you really didn't have any of those penalty issues for the most part. You had the one, and then you had the quarterback using the timeouts himself on the field. I mean, it just shows that how much Trevor has grown in the offense to where he's not just a player in the offense, he is the owner and the operator. And that's the impressive part to me, especially when you talk about having to do all of that with a level of noise that's very difficult to deal with, not just at home. And so that's the biggest growth and the most growth that you can point to and say, this is the reason why where this team is at right now. But earlier in the season now, it wasn't all about Trevor. It was about the team playing good defense and having a good running game. And the coaches were the ones who made the adjustments to transition this team to, at the beginning, of running the football, play good defense, did a great job with the takeaways. Now the offense is evolving because the quarterback has shown that he can handle more. And so they're allowing him to do more. So it's just a cool process that's happened through the year with this coaching staff and a very aware coaching staff to allow this offense to progress and to move into different kind of formats of success.
All right. Thank you for the call there as we move along to our good friend Regina this morning. Regina, Merry Christmas early, and how are you?
Good morning, guys, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to all of Jaguar Kingdom. And yes, I was listening to Jeff. Obviously, it is a unpredictable offense now. It's exactly what Shad Khan had mentioned. He was last year. The offense was too predictable. I was astonished to see that Ogba intercepted. What did Jeff see out of Ogba that led to that? Is he just in tune to the game more? Is Alua Khan lining people up? And everyone's playing lights out. Everyone's flying around. It was just so much fun to watch. And I didn't realize how loud it was until you just mentioned it earlier in the show. Because I listened to you and Frank, Jeff. You guys are fun to listen to. And then I watch it like 30 seconds later. But we have the TV muted. So, and happy holidays. Good luck to the Jags. And stay well. Bye.
Thanks, Regina. Appreciate it. All right,
yeah,
Lawrence.
well, Merry Christmas, Regina. And Ogba got a fumble recovery, and he played, I thought, his best game yet, not just because he made the fumble recovery, but just because he was a little bit more active. And, earlier in the year, he was just kind of And this past game, I thought he played his best, and that's what they need is for guys to step up. Danny Strigo is going to be inactive for maybe a week or two more, depending on how that ankle heals up. But that's what you need is guys to step up, no doubt.
All right. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, everybody else. We'll try to get one or two more in on the other side, but we got to take our final time out here, and we'll come back and get some final thoughts in with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday as the Jags have clinched a playoff spot thanks to the Colts' loss last night, but bigger fish to fry with the division title still hanging in the balance. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,800 5-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design get us organized for the holidays.
From closets to garages to laundry rooms and so much more. Closets by Design will design a custom storage solution for all of your spaces. Nothing says happy holidays like a home that is peaceful and clutter-free. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation before year-end and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
The best wings in town are coming to River City Marketplace. Leon Cersei here. Wingstop is opening another North Jacksonville location soon at the end of December. You always get fresh, made-to-order wings in 11 flavors, including original, hot, garlic parm, and of course, lemon pepper. Wingstop now has 18 locations in Jacksonville, always open until 1 a.m. So skip the wait and order your wings online at wingstop.com and swing by to pick up at the brand new Wingstop location in River City Marketplace.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 48th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget. And with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach open 7 days a week in December.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
The new Ackerman Cancer Center is now open at World Golf Village, providing state-of-the-art screenings and diagnostic exams with no referral required. Same-day appointments are available. Call today or visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
I'm with Retro Cycles of Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
It's time for the Plumbing 411 from Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. When your kitchen or bathroom drain just won't clear, there's probably a deeper blockage. Food scraps, grease, soap scum, even small objects can jam up your pipes. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining uses advanced tools to find the clog and flush it away for good. Don't wait for a tiny clog to become a big headache. Make the superior choice when your drains are clogged. And learn more at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, and for Jag fans out there to say you don't get national credit, I understand it, right? You don't in a lot of cases, Tony, and the fact that Ross Matisic being named the only Pro Bowler from this team is evidence of that. But I will say this, NFL.com has an article up on the top snubs. I don't know if you've seen it for the Pro Bowl. And oftentimes you don't even see Jaguar players mentioned in that. The top two, according to this author, Devin Lloyd, number one, Josh Hines-Allen, number two, and really gets into all the pressure that he's created this year. So at least, some people are trying to give this roster a little bit of recognition for putting themselves in an 11-win posture.
They should be getting some credit from somebody somewhere for what they've been able to do.
But Logs, maybe they're better off not getting it, right? As Liam Cohen said, it's not going to come. He is definitely playing the underdog, small market, whatever card you want to call it, very well right now. And whether they're real or perceived slights, he has the team believing that everyone's out to get him.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, whatever you can find to motivate a football team, you take advantage of, and that's also part of just being a very aware, good head coach, and that's real positive for this football team. But everybody's kind of wanting to talk about all the different things about why this team is what it is this year compared to the years past. And the one thing that we haven't even touched on is the takeaways. We kind of mentioned it briefly, but another game with 2 takeaways by this defense, and that's 28 on the year. And 28 takeaways. I mean, let's go back to last year and think about this for a minute. That last year this football team had 9 takeaways for the entire season, and that resulted in 25 points off of those takeaways. And this year, complete 180. You got 28 takeaways, and you've scored 100 points off of that. And we're all talking about coaching. Well, coaching matters. Again, I'm going to say this again. And the defensive coaching staff with Anthony Campanelli leading the way, they do a great job of emphasizing takeaways. They show the boxing videos, they show videos of takeaways that happen in the National Football League, they show videos of their team trying to punch out the ball just so that it's an awareness thing. They celebrate takeaways. So that's another big reason why this football team has 11 wins right now. If you don't have those takeaways, I don't know where this football team is at. But your ability to take the ball away has been paramount to the turnaround that this football team has been enjoying.
Logs, am I crazy to want to see the Colts push them this week? I don't think the Titans will be able to. And this kind of question wasn't answered on Sunday in Denver especially. Hasn't been the case for a while now, but it will be at some point down the line here. What do you think things will look like if they are trailing late in a football game?
The Jaguars trailing?
Yeah.
Well, I go back to some of Trevor's performances that he's in the past. I mean, he's had game-winning drives, and he's been sometimes at his best when he's been playing from behind. I mean, that Arizona game, I think, is a perfect example. Things weren't going so well. Then all of a sudden he just started playing lights out and kind of brought this team back a little bit into contention. So I think they can handle it. I mean, is it a situation that my nerves want to have? No. I want to see them, be on top the entirety of that ball game. But I think this football team can do that. This team has shown this year that they've been resilient. I mean, the Raiders game's another example. It didn't exactly go perfectly, in the way that you'd like to close it out. You got a little break there with a pass defense, but the reality is that you're the one that got the pass defense. So I think this football team can handle any type of game that they play, and that's, I think, the impressive thing is that sometimes you got to be a little bit of a chameleon of a football team and be ready to handle every situation that may pop up. And so far, this team has shown the mental toughness to be able to handle things like that.
Do you think they will do just that? Will they handle their business this week against Indianapolis?
Well, I mean, I hope so, but Mike, again, the division games are different and they're always, highly contested. And I expect nothing less than that this week. It's an Indianapolis Colts team that's kind of got their back to the wall, that they need a win to kind of keep their hopes alive. And do I expect the Jaguars to win? Yes. Is it an automatic? Absolutely not. Division games are always competitive. I think the last 2 games are going to be competitive like that.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. I mean, Tennessee wants to play spoiler for sure. We'll worry about them next week. What do you have coming up this Christmas week? I'm sure not the normal schedule.
Yeah, a little different. We actually have Jaguars All Access tonight at Strings at the Beach at 7 o'clock. And then the rest of the week, we don't have any Jaguars programming that I'll be a part of. There's a lot of content that will be done, though, on Jaguars.com. And then Saturday morning, got the outdoor show. And then we'll talk to you guys on game day on Sunday morning from Indianapolis.
All right, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours. And we will talk to you Sunday and then, of course, again next Tuesday.
Yep. Merry Christmas, guys.
All right. There he goes, Jeff Lageman, wrapping up a Check the Tape Tuesday. And let's welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Look at us, Josie, right on time for once.
Yeah,
How about
it's
that?
good.
How about that?
Pacing nicely.
What's going on? Jags are a playoff squad.
All right, so here's a good story. This is a feel-good story. I'm cruising in today. I got to make one stop because you're kind of going through your list of what you got to get, stocking stuffers, whatever it might be. Anyway, I roll into Publix to grab some items, and I'm listening to you guys.
Okay.
Throw it in park, turn the key off, and my volume's probably up a little bit listening to you guys anyway. Turn my car off. I hear an echo
of Jaguars Today.
Jaguars Today. Dude is parked just ahead of me. He has it on blast. and he is not getting out of his car.
As well he should.
Exactly.
Thank
he is
you very
just
much.
waiting, and he can't wait because he wants to get a little more information before he hustles on into
Thank you to the Publix parking lot guy for spreading the gospel of Check the Tape Tuesday out there. Well, I guess, look, you got a smorgasbord to select from now, right?
Well, today also is Festivus, so we will have the airing of the grievances today.
Of course.
And one of them is the fact that the lack of respect for this 11-win team when it comes to the Pro Bowl. So we'll have a little fun with that today. And obviously just dive in on everything. Last night, Phillip Rivers, he was fun to watch, but you knew the tank was just the fuel was going to burn up slowly but surely. And anyway, we'll get into the Colts, get into the fact that you are now a playoff football team. College football playoff stuff will also tear into today.
Yeah, I don't put that loss on him at all.
No.
I know he threw the pick six, but at that point, they're down. It was the fumble on the kickoff changed everything in the first half because they were rolling, matching scores. They put 27 up.
Yes.
But they just could not stop San Francisco all night.
Right. The fact that he can wheel and deal and operate at the line of scrimmage, his cerebral knowledge of the game is just incredible. But he also can't drive the football. And I thought Troy Aikman made a good point that Tyler Warren kind of cost him that pick, that he telegraphed his move before he got to the linebacker. Anyway, it was a fun game to watch, but yeah, Phillip. He's 44 years old. He's got a pot belly, beer belly, grandfather bod, not a dad
he
bod.
threw it 277 last night. I mean, he can't hit the deep ball, but he threw
great.
the intermediate ball fine last night. And I just thought it was crazy, the stat. And granted, they had their bye in December, so they've only played 2 games, but the 49ers have not punted this month.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's pretty crazy, right, when you put it like in that kind of context. They haven't punted since November. All right, Joey, have a great show.
Fellas, thank you.
There you go. Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, excellent work as always. Tomorrow, Tony, get a little early breakfast for the week as it's our last opportunity. We'll have Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, join us. John Ogier will be in studio hour number 2, and we're told that maybe an in-person visit from one and only Duval Doom is going to happen. A greatly reduced Duval Doom, right? As he's been chronicling his weight loss out there. We're proud of him for that. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks to Jeff Lageman, Tony Dillon. I am Mike Dempsey, wrapping things up. Stick around for XL Primetime. Coming up next here on 1010XL and 92.